Well, hey everybody, it's the Crockett Coon'er, and I'm out here again, guys, and today I am building a set of fenders for our aluminum boat trailer project. Now, if you folks that follow me remember over on our gardening projects and things, we had gotten a screen door to cover over the front of our seed planter bed. The aluminum strips that you guys are seeing me with right there that's laying on the trailer, that's actually the bottom kick plate of the aluminum door. When I saw it, I thought, you know, what better to make a set of fenders out of? Now, guys, I carried it to a local shop and they sheared it off for me, I believe about 7 inches wide. And what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to find the center of the metal, and what I'm going to do is determine where I want to actually bend these fenders at. Now, you know, some trailers, guys, they have like round looking fenders, but what we're going to do is make more of like a U shape, I guess you could say. I moved into the shop, folks, and what I'm doing right here is I'm transferring my measurements. You can see my square down there. That way I can have a bend to the front of the tire and to the rear of the tire. I know it's a little bit difficult to see on film, everybody, but I am going to do both pieces of metal and make sure that the bends are the same on the driver and the passenger side of the trailer. Well, everybody, before we start bending, I'm going to bend the edges of the metal that's going to be the fenders. Now, I've never really mentioned this on film, but there is one thing that the old Crockett Coon'er here is a stickler for, folks, and that is sharp metal objects. I have cut my hands so many times. A lot of people don't know that about me. I was a tool and die maker at one time, and Scooter still currently is. He's been in the same position there, I believe, about 25 years. But what I'm doing here, guys, just real simple. Got a set of channel locks out. Gonna bend me about an 1/8 inch bead. I've already kind of marked it there, and I'm just gonna use the hammer. Really easy to stand it up. It looks like I would have used the body hammer to do it, but I didn't have it down here at this shop. I've got it elsewhere. I believe it's at another shop that I was at here just a while back. I need to go pick it up. But it's really simple, guys. Just going to turn the edge of it, because if you've ever had a piece of metal sheared off, it makes it just razor sharp on the edge. And we definitely don't want somebody to kick this with their foot or have to change a tire one day, brush their arm against it or something, and cut theirself. Well, I changed positions with the camera, everybody, so you folks could watch me. Now, what I'm doing is I am going all the way around the metal, bending an 1/8 inch lip. And what I'm doing is I'm using my finger there as a guide in the first set of teeth on the pliers to bend it up straight. I'm going to go back, use a hammer like I did earlier, go all the way around the edge of the fenders. But one thing that I am after is adding a little bit more stiffness to the metal, making it a little more rigid. Really, guys, I don't know if the trailer needed any fenders on it, but where we fish, many times it's gravel roads, and I don't really want rocks and things being thrown at the traffic behind us and up against the aluminum boat when it's polished. But there you go, folks. I've got it bent. Now I'm going to finish it with a hammer. Now here you go, everybody. I've got the other fender already done. Just using the hammer there to start the lip rolling on over really good. I've been in it at a 90 first. Now what I'm going to do is go back, like you can see right here, that's some of the wood that was originally on the trailer when we first got it. I'm just going to get it bent all the way on over down the metal, and then I'm going to flip the metal over, finish it off. You can see there I've got it marked, the center of the fender where we're going to put our mounting hardware, and also where the bends are going to be. But basically I just work my way along the metal to make sure that I have everything sealed off good and tight. We don't want a bunch of gravel stuck one day in between the lip of it after we've been fishing and then fly off in the middle of town. But there you go, guys, good and smooth. Well, I'm moving on to the mountain hardware, everybody. Now, these two pieces right here were some of the metal that was on the sideboards that was originally on our boat trailer. I'm just going to beat them down flat there. Nothing really big about it. Kind of square everything up. I've already been out to the trailer, basically measured to see how tall of an L bracket we're going to need. I'm fixing to get these as straight as I can. You can tell they're pretty stiff. That metal was surprisingly a little bit harder than what I thought it would be, but I'm just going to hammer them out nice and flat, and then we're going to get in there, take a little of the rust off of them and things, and lay them up there, get them straight, mark them, and then bend them so we can use these as the new mounting hardware for our aluminum fenders. Well, here's our fenders, everybody, and there's our mounting hardware. It'll go about like this. We're going to bend it in an L shape, then drill some holes and mount it to the fender. But if you notice, that's pretty flimsy, and knowing my luck, it'll take flight on the trailer going down the road. So what we're going to use, that's some of the decorative metal that came off the front of the screen door. I'm going to use those aluminum pieces there on the side to reinforce the fenders. Well, one of the Coon'er's all-time favorite things, guys, and that's power tools, and I really love my grinder. But anyways, what I'm about to do, I've got this baby out. I am going to grind the heads of the aluminum rivets off. I think there was 4 of them that went down the side on either side, 4 rivets that just hold on the twisted metal edge there that you see. I really need to find a vise, guys. Now, don't do like the old Coon'er here does unless you don't have another option, because, you know, I've done things like this for years, guys. Basically a professional at what I do. I took a test on it once, and they actually said that I was a master craftsman with my hands. But anyways, got it done here. Just going to sit down. Won't be difficult at all, guys. Going to give it a good tug, and there we go. Now, what I'm going to do here in just a second, once I get this apart, we're going to try to get a good pair of channel locks and see if we can't bend the twist out of that metal. All right, well, I got the channel locks out, guys, and what I'm going to do is just untwist the twist that they put in it in the factory. Now, it wasn't all that hard to do, guys. I'd already done the other one, and I kind of measured it against the new fenders. We're going to, you know, bolt it on underneath the new fenders. But even after I got it out straight, kind of banged on it a little with a hammer, it still had a pretty gnarly bend down there at the end. And the sticks of aluminum here that we're making, they're still too long for what we need. So we're going to put them together and shorten them. All right, I've got the 2 pieces stacked together and got out the old trusted vice grips. Now, what I'm doing here, folks, is I'm just going to clamp them on both ends and actually just hold them together. That way when I cut them, they'll be the same length. Really, guys, they're a bit long for what we need. We want them recessed up underneath the fenders anyways. So what I'm going to do is measure them to basically a perfect 24 inches, which is in between the 2 bends that I can't get out. And that way we'll end up with a good straight piece of metal. Tip from the old Coon'er here. Now, I got the tape measure out again. I'd already marked these pieces, but I kind of checked, did a few other things, made sure that we had the fenders themselves good and square, kind of measured to see how 24 inches would look or how they would compare to the bottom. And sure enough, the old Coon'er here mismeasured a little bit. So remember, always measure twice, cut once, guys. That way, you know that you're spot on. Now, I went back again, checked them and everything. This time it looks like I'm pretty well going to be at 24 inches. I actually had made them a little bit long, but I had to go back. It was kind of hard to see marks on the aluminum a little bit. But got the die grinder out and cut them off to a perfect 24 inches. All right, everybody, I better explain what I'm doing here a little bit. Now, actually, you're looking at the bottom of the fender. This would be like if you were the tire looking straight up at the bottom of the fender. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, scribe around this. That way, here in just a second, I can lay out the bolt holes for when we bolt these 2 pieces together, because I'm going to use some self-tapping screws and bolt from the top down. Now, I am laying out the position of where I'm going to put every bolt. I'll do it on both fenders. That way it'll be symmetrical on both sides of the trailer. And then, really simple, guys, went ahead, got a drill bit that is just a little bit bigger than the bolts, and went ahead, drilled us some pilot holes and things so I can go back with some self-tapping screws and attach our bracket to the fender. Now, folks, one of the Coon'er's favorite things, the old self-tapping screws. Just put the piece underneath the bottom, so now we're looking at the top of the fender, guys, so you'll see the head of the self-tapping screw. Used a clamp there to hold it in place. You can see it right there. I held it up. Now, the self-tapper is sticking through a little bit. I'm going to go back here in a few minutes, guys, after I put them all in, cut the ends of them off. What we're after is a screw in each bend of the panel. Now, I'm moving back to our mountain hardware, everybody. It was a little bit rusted, so I've got the wire brush out. Just going to clean it up, and after I do, guys, I am headed outside, and we are going to take a tape measure, kind of measure to see where we need to bend these particular brackets at. All right, on to bending the brackets, guys. I just sandwiched them and marked them at the right lengths. Just going to take a hammer, bend them into a complete 90L bracket. Luckily, we've already got some holes that somebody else had put in there. We're going to use that for part of our mountain hardware. I'm going to have to go and get some bolts here in just a second, but to kind of show you guys a little bit, not much to it. They're going to basically be like that, 2 bolts through the top, and then we will actually use 2 bolts on the side to mount them to the trailer. So now all we lack is bending the fenders. All right, on to bending the fenders, everybody. Now, I've got everything marked. I'm going to bend it the same as I did the mounting hardware there on the sides. Just basically going to line everything up. Going to line my lines up on the bottom board, set the top board on it, use it just like you would a metal brake. Put my body weight on it and then bend it up, guys. And what I'm doing is basically patterning this off of my other lawnmower trailer that I've got. Sometimes you can see it in the back of the videos, but it's not a true 45. The front bend is actually about 35 degrees, and then the rear of the tire bend to the rear of the tire would be more about 32 degrees. But all in all, it's not all that hard to do, guys. It just ends up giving us kind of that perfect like U shape, and then the rear of the fender is flowing off the back of the tire. All right, everybody, now I'm out in the yard. That's our mountain hardware. You know, no way, no how am I going to wire brush it and leave it raw metal, in this being on a boat trailer where we're going to back it into the water. So I thought, you know, better give this a little coat of paint before I go and get some bolts and everything. But, you know, one great thing about making these fenders out of aluminum is aluminum doesn't rust, guys. And who knows, maybe I'll polish it up just like the boat, or I could go back and scuff down and paint the aluminum black. I don't know. You guys definitely comment that down below. What would you like to see? Me polish the fenders up or just paint them black to match the rest of the trailer? Well, folks, I tell you what. We're back out here at it again. Now, I know on video it only looks like it's been just a second, but if you really look close, it's a lot darker outside in the back of this video. And I went off to get us some bolts and saw another fellow coon hunter, and we got on a conversation about what makes a good hound, and I shot my mouth off there for about an hour, and finally I said, you know what, I gotta go. We're finishing up these fenders on this aluminum boat trailer. So anyways, guys, all I'm doing, I've got a pair of vice grips. I've mounted our bracket hardware to the frame. I'm just going to pop a couple holes in there. I'm going to put 5/16 bolts with flat washers and lock washers through the whole thing. Going to use 2 bolts to hold the brackets on, and then also 2 bolts to hold the fenders on. Well, everybody, there you go. I've got them bolted on. I do need to go back and take the tops of those bolts off a little bit, but that's how you build a set of fenders from a old aluminum door for a boat trailer. Anyways, guys, I'm going to finish up the other side. I'm going to stop the video right here. Now, I say it all the time, folks, you got to be resourceful and use what you can to save a buck where you can in today's economy. But definitely remember, if you do that, and you're like the old Cooner and Scooter here, I say it all the time. Remember, folks, stay safe on the water, stay safe in the woods, and definitely stay tuned here at the Crockett Coon'er Show. And myself and Scooter will have you folks another video dropping shortly. You guys have a great day.